God will take the wrong people out of your life. There will come a time in your life when people start leaving without reason, conversations end without closure, and connections fade without warning. You'll question yourself, wondering what went wrong or what you could have done differently. But sometimes, it's not you. It's God intervening. He's not punishing you, He's protecting you. When God takes someone out of your life, it's because He heard conversations you didn't, saw things you couldn't, and knew intentions you would have ignored. Separation isn't rejection. It's protection. It's God's way of clearing your path from distractions disguised as relationships. Some people are only meant to walk with you for a season, not a lifetime. As you grow, your spirit changes, your standards rise, and your peace becomes too valuable to trade for temporary comfort. That's when God starts filtering your circle. Not everyone can go where He's taking you. Some people are aligned with your past, but they cannot survive your elevation. When your spirit elevates, your atmosphere shifts, and suddenly, what used to fit no longer does. Don't fight to keep what God is removing. He knows what He's doing. The wrong people will drain your energy, confuse your purpose, and make you question your worth. They come to distract, delay, and derail your destiny. But the right ones, they bring peace, not pressure. They nurture your soul, not exhaust it. And if you're wondering why some people keep leaving, it's because God is answering prayers you didn't even know how to pray. You asked for peace, and He's removing chaos. You asked for clarity, and He's exposing intentions. You asked for purpose, and He's clearing out confusion. The longer you hold on to what's not meant for you, the longer you delay what is. God cannot bless the version of you that's still attached to what hurts you. Every time you let go of what was never meant for you, you make room for something greater. It's painful to lose people you love, but even more painful to stay connected to those who were never meant to go where you're headed. Sometimes the hardest obedience brings the greatest peace. Trust that God's plan is always bigger than your pain. What leaves your life under divine direction will always be replaced with something better, deeper connections, healthier love, and genuine peace. Don't chase who walked away. Don't reopen closed doors. God closed them because He heard conversations that would have broken you. He saw betrayal that would have wounded you. He removed them to make space for people who will see your value without having to be convinced. So, when people leave, thank God, because what's leaving is making room for what's meant. Trust the process, even when it hurts. Trust the silence, even when it feels lonely. Because every separation under God's hand is a setup for elevation. The wrong people had to go so the right blessings could flow. There comes a point in your life when you begin to notice strange shifts. The kind that can't be explained logically, only spiritually. You start to feel uneasy around certain people. Conversations that once felt light suddenly feel heavy. Their words sound the same, but their spirit doesn't. That's not coincidence. That's God whispering to you. He's trying to warn you about people who smile with their lips, but hide deception in their hearts. God always gives signs before He exposes. The problem is, we often ignore them because we're emotionally attached to the very people He's trying to protect us from. You'll notice the first warning in your peace. When someone's presence begins to disturb your inner calm, that's God alerting your spirit. You may not have evidence, but you'll have a feeling. And that feeling is not paranoia, it's divine discernment. God doesn't always shout. Sometimes, He simply unsettles your spirit until you pay attention. When God is trying to warn you about someone, He will begin to reveal subtle inconsistencies. The stories won't match. Their energy will shift. The person who once celebrated your growth will start competing with it. They'll begin to criticize what they used to encourage. And your spirit will feel the shift long before your mind admits it. That's because discernment always sees what the eyes can't. God knows the conversations they've had about you when you weren't around. He's heard every whisper, every hidden agenda, every false smile. So when He starts to make you feel distant, uncomfortable, or unsure, that's not confusion, that's clarity in disguise. Sometimes, the warning comes through conflict. God will allow certain moments to expose true colors. You'll notice how they respond to your wins, whether they clap or go silent. You'll see how they act when you set a boundary, whether they respect it or guilt you for it. People reveal themselves when you stop serving their interests. That's when you realize some people were connected to your usefulness, not your soul. God will use discomfort to detach you from those who were only connected to your weakness. And when He does, don't fight to keep them. Don't chase explanations from people who showed you the truth through their behavior. One of the clearest signs God is warning you is when a person's words sound good, but their actions leave you drained. They might speak kindness, but your spirit feels cold after talking to them. That's not chemistry. That's conflict between your discernment and their energy. God speaks through peace. And whenever peace leaves, something's off. The people meant to be in your life will bring stillness, not storms. They will inspire you, not exhaust you. They will protect your name in rooms you're not in, not tarnish it behind your back. When God shows you that someone's character does not match their presence, believe Him the first time. Another warning comes through delay and distraction. Have you noticed how your focus slips when certain people are around? How your goals start to fade because of constant drama, confusion, or emotional drain? That's not random. That's warfare disguised as friendship. God will show you how the wrong people keep you busy but never better. They bring constant noise so you can't hear His voice. The moment you try to grow, they pull you back with guilt, manipulation, or fake concern. God will never send someone into your life to pull you away from your purpose. He sends people to water your vision, not to drain your spirit. When someone's presence begins to cost you your peace, your focus, and your purpose, that's not connection, that's contamination. And sometimes, God's final warning comes through loss. He'll remove access, close communication, or end the relationship altogether. It may hurt, you may cry, you may not understand it. But when God ends something, it's because He's heard conversations you didn't, seen betrayals you weren't aware of, and protected you from wounds you didn't see coming. He's not trying to punish you, He's preserving your destiny. You asked Him for peace, and He's removing what disturbs it. You asked Him for clarity, and He's exposing what confuses it. You asked Him for purpose, and He's clearing out who distracts from it. Don't call it rejection when it's really redirection. Don't grieve what God has already replaced with something better in the Spirit. Every time God warns you, He's not trying to create fear. He's trying to build wisdom. He wants you to see people for who they are, not who you hope they'll be. He's teaching you to trust your spirit more than your sight, because not everyone who hugs you loves you. Not everyone who praises you supports you. Some people come to drain, distract, or destroy, and God, in His mercy, will never let them stay hidden for long. He'll let them reveal themselves at the right time, so you can walk away before they ruin what He's building in you. So the next time your spirit feels uneasy, listen. When your peace feels disturbed, pay attention. When someone's true nature begins to show, don't argue with the evidence. God never removes without a reason. He will never strip away what you need. Only what's blocking what's next. What feels like loss today is divine protection in motion. You're not losing people, you're losing access to distractions. You're not being abandoned, you're being redirected. Every closed door, every broken bond, every silent departure is a message from heaven. I heard what you didn't, I saw what you couldn't, and I removed what would have broken you. Let this truth settle in your heart. When God warns you about someone, it's because He's preparing you for something greater. Don't silence your spirit to keep temporary company. Don't ignore red flags just to avoid being alone. The same God who removes will always replace. He will bring people who match your peace, not challenge it. People who understand your calling, not compete with it. And when they arrive, you'll finally understand why He had to remove the wrong ones first. Because peace always follows obedience. There are moments in life when something inside you starts to shift, quietly, subtly, but undeniably. You can't explain it, but your heart feels uneasy around certain people. Their presence drains your peace. Their words sound kind but feel hollow, and something in your spirit whispers, pay attention. That whisper isn't fear or overthinking. It's God's voice, warning you about people who are not meant to stay in your life. God always gives you signals before destruction, but they're rarely loud. He speaks through discomfort, disconnection, and discernment. The danger is, we often ignore his voice because we don't want to believe what it's telling us. We want to see potential, not patterns. We want to believe their promises, not their actions. But God's warnings aren't meant to hurt you. They're meant to protect you from what you cannot yet see. The first way God warns you is through your peace. When someone is wrong for your life, your spirit will know before your mind accepts it. You'll feel anxiety that doesn't make sense, confusion after every conversation, or exhaustion after every interaction. That's not normal, that's spiritual conflict. God is allowing your peace to be disturbed because he wants you to notice what your emotions have been trying to ignore. You might start to feel distance growing between you and them, not because you've changed, but because your spirit is outgrowing their energy. When peace leaves, that's your sign. When you can't find rest around someone who used to make you feel safe, that's not coincidence. That's clarity. God's presence is peace, and when his peace lifts, it's a warning that something is off. The second way God warns you is through repetition of red flags. You'll see patterns that keep repeating. Lies disguised as misunderstandings, apologies followed by the same behavior, promises with no action behind them. These aren't accidents, they're revelations. God lets repetition expose character. He gives you the same test until you learn the lesson. If someone keeps showing you the same hurt, it's not a mistake anymore. It's a message. Stop praying for signs when the signs are already in front of you. When God reveals a person's true nature, he's giving you a chance to walk away before they do permanent damage. Don't let history blind you to truth. Some people stay consistent only in how they hurt you, and God will never bless you with peace, while you're tied to what's meant to break you. The third warning comes through disconnection. God will start removing your desire to be around certain people. Conversations that once felt easy now feel forced. You'll notice delays in communication, distance that doesn't make sense, or circumstances that naturally separate you. Don't fight those endings. They're divine protection. God will block access when someone's influence becomes dangerous to your purpose. Sometimes, the removal isn't dramatic. It's quiet. You'll just drift apart. But that silence is sacred. It's God's way of pulling you out of spaces that can no longer hold who you're becoming. What you interpret as rejection is often his redirection. The fourth way God warns you is through exposure. He will allow a moment to reveal who someone truly is. A situation will arise, and suddenly their mask slips. The person you trusted will show envy, disrespect, or dishonesty. It hurts, but don't dismiss it. Exposure is mercy. It's God showing you what he's been protecting you from. You prayed for truth, and he's answering, not always with words, but with revelation. Pay attention to how people act when you set boundaries, when you succeed, or when you say, no. The wrong people only support you when it benefits them. The moment you grow beyond their control, they reveal the truth you were too kind to see. Don't excuse their actions because of shared history. Longevity doesn't equal loyalty. Another way God warns you is by changing your environment. He will shift you into new spaces where the wrong people can't follow. Doors will close. Invitations will stop coming. Opportunities you thought you needed will fade. It'll feel uncomfortable at first, but that's because growth always requires separation. God isolates you not to punish you, but to prepare you. You can't move into a new season surrounded by the same people who thrived in your old one. Some relationships are built for who you were, not who you're becoming. When God changes your atmosphere, it's a spiritual sign that elevation is near, but so is exposure. The higher you go, the more visible your purpose becomes, and not everyone is meant to see it up close. And finally, the last warning is through inner conviction. That quiet voice inside you that says, this doesn't feel right. You can't shake it off. You can't pray it away. Because it's not doubt. It's discernment. God uses conviction to guide you, to steer you away from people who may smile but secretly compete, who may compliment but quietly resent. Trust that inner tug. It's your spiritual radar. The more you ignore it, the louder the consequences will become. God never leaves his children blind. He gives you insight before impact. When your heart feels uneasy, that's your spirit seeing what your eyes cannot. God's warnings are acts of mercy. He's not trying to isolate you. He's trying to protect your destiny. Every removal, every conflict, every uneasy feeling, it's all part of His divine filtering. He knows what's said behind your back. He knows who secretly envies your blessings. And He knows who would sabotage your peace if they stayed too long. So when people start falling away, don't chase them. Don't question the silence. Thank God for the separation. Because the people He removes are often the ones He heard plotting against what He's building through you. You're not losing people. You're gaining protection. You're not being abandoned. You're being aligned. So pay attention to what disturbs your peace, what drains your focus, and what doesn't sit right in your soul. God's warnings often come wrapped in discomfort. Don't pray for signs and then ignore the unease. Trust the nudge, believe the pattern, obey the pull. The wrong people can look right for a season, but God sees what's hidden beneath the surface. And when He warns you, it's because He loves you too much to let you walk blind into betrayal. Remember, protection doesn't always feel peaceful, but peace always follows obedience. When God removes, He replaces. When He warns, He saves. When He closes doors, He's clearing your path for destiny. Trust the warning, and you'll thank Him later for what never made it to your future. There will be seasons in your life when God begins to expose the true nature of people around you. You'll notice small things, subtle shifts, quiet changes in tone, energy that once felt safe now feels strange. Conversations that used to flow easily will suddenly feel heavy. You won't be able to explain it, but something inside you will whisper, something's off. That whisper isn't fear. It's not paranoia. It's God speaking to your spirit. Before He removes someone from your life, He always gives you signs, gentle warnings meant to protect your heart, your peace, and your purpose. The problem is, most of us ignore them because we want to believe the best in people. We hold on to potential when God is trying to show us patterns. We cling to comfort when He's calling us to clarity, but the longer you ignore those warnings, the louder they become. One of the first ways God warns you is through a change in your peace. When someone's spirit no longer aligns with yours, peace will be the first thing to leave. You'll feel emotionally restless, mentally drained, or uneasy around them for no apparent reason. That's not confusion. That's confirmation. God communicates through peace, and when His peace lifts, that's a sign that something or someone doesn't belong in your space. Sometimes, you'll even notice that after being around them, your mind feels cloudy, your mood shifts, or your energy feels off. That's spiritual warfare, not coincidence. God lets your spirit sense what your eyes cannot yet see, and if you ignore that disturbance, you'll end up carrying a burden He tried to warn you about. When peace disappears, don't chase explanations, chase distance. The second way God warns you is through revelation of true motives. People can pretend with words, but they can't hide energy. Over time, you'll notice envy in their compliments, competition in their kindness, and manipulation in their concern. They'll disguise criticism as advice. They'll smile in your face but flinch when you win. Pay attention. That's not love. That's disguise. God allows small moments to reveal big truths. You'll catch phrases that expose jealousy. You'll notice how they celebrate others more than you. You'll feel how they secretly want your peace but not your purpose. God exposes their motives not to make you bitter, but to make you wise. He wants you to see who they truly are before they sit too close to your destiny. Sometimes, God warns you through constant conflict. Every conversation turns into misunderstanding, every attempt to grow causes distance, and every boundary you set feels like a threat to them. That's because the wrong people can't handle your growth. They were comfortable when you needed them, but they can't stand when you no longer depend on them. God allows friction to reveal foundation. When a connection is divine, it produces peace, not chaos. But when it's built on control or ego, growth becomes the breaking point. Don't fight to fix what God is breaking apart. The tension you feel is the separation He's creating. Another warning from God is silence. You'll pray for clarity, and suddenly communication stops. They go distant, detached, or disappear altogether. Don't chase after what God removed Himself from. Sometimes, His silence is the answer. He's showing you that certain people can't go where you're going. Their absence is not abandonment. It's alignment. You've outgrown that environment, that connection, that circle. God removes them quietly because he knows that confrontation will only create confusion. Trust that the distance is divine. When people fade, it's not always betrayal. It's protection. Then there's the warning through delay. Have you ever noticed how certain things stop progressing when a specific person enters your life? Your peace fades, your focus drops, and doors that once opened easily suddenly shut. That's not bad luck. That's a sign. God will allow delay to show you who's slowing you down. He can't move you forward while you're still connected to the wrong energy. Some people are spiritual blockages. Their presence interrupts your blessing. You can pray, you can fast, but until you release them, heaven remains on pause. God isn't withholding. He's waiting for you to let go. And sometimes, the most painful warning comes through betrayal. The person you defended will be the one who exposes you. The one you trusted with secrets will twist them. The one you thought was loyal will show you the opposite. It's heartbreaking, but it's also freeing. Betrayal is God's way of breaking false attachments. It hurts because it's the final confirmation. You'll cry, but those tears will wash away the illusion of who they never really were. Remember, exposure is painful, but deception is worse. God would rather let you hurt for a moment than allow you to stay blind forever. When God warns you, it's never to create fear. It's to create awareness. He loves you too much to let you walk into harm unprepared. He'll stir your spirit, interrupt your plans, and even break your heart, if that's what it takes to protect your destiny. Every warning, every red flag, every uneasy feeling is divine communication. Stop calling it overthinking. Start calling it discernment. You asked God for wisdom, and this is how he gives it. Through conviction, through discomfort, through exposure. So if you're in a season where people are leaving, energy is shifting, or your spirit feels uneasy, don't panic, pay attention. God is speaking. He's showing you who's for you and who's against you. He's pruning your life of distractions disguised as relationships. Let him. The wrong people can't go where peace lives. The right ones will come without pressure, without confusion, without the constant need for proof. When you listen to God's warnings, you save yourself from unnecessary heartbreak. Trust your spirit more than your emotions. God's voice will always come as peace, not pressure. When he removes, he replaces. When he warns, he protects. What feels like loss today will soon look like protection tomorrow. You don't have to understand it now. You just have to trust that he sees what you can't. Every separation, every silent exit, every exposed truth is a reminder that God is not punishing you, he's preparing you. You prayed for clarity, and he answered through removal. You prayed for peace, and he responded with distance. You prayed for direction, and he showed you who can't walk with you. That's how God warns you about these people. Through the language of peace, patterns, and purpose. Don't ignore it. What you release in obedience, God replaces in abundance. There will be a time in your life when God starts to pull back the curtain, showing you the truth about people you thought you could trust. You'll begin to sense things before you see them. Words will sound the same, but the energy behind them will change. Smiles will feel different. Conversations that once brought you peace will start to feel heavy. It's not in your imagination, it's in your spirit. That uneasiness, that quiet discomfort, that unexplainable tension. That's not fear, it's discernment. That's God trying to warn you. He knows what's being said when you're not in the room. He knows the intentions behind the laughter and the flattery. And before he allows harm to reach you, he always sends subtle signs. But often, we mistake those warnings for emotional overreactions. We ignore them because we don't want to believe that people we love could also be the ones sent to delay our peace. Yet, God never exposes to embarrass. He exposes to protect. The first and most powerful way God warns you is through a shift in peace. You'll start to notice that being around certain people doesn't feel right anymore. You can't explain it logically. They haven't done anything obvious. Yet every time they enter your space, your energy changes. Your spirit feels disturbed, your thoughts feel clouded, and your peace disappears. That's not coincidence. That's God's way of alerting you to spiritual danger. His peace is like an internal compass. When it goes missing, it's because something in your environment doesn't align with His presence. Don't ignore that discomfort. When peace leaves, pay attention. God never asks you to stay where His peace refuses to dwell. Another way God warns you is through repeated red flags. At first, it may come as small inconsistencies. A lie here, a secret there, a small betrayal disguised as a misunderstanding. You'll catch yourself giving endless second chances, hoping for change, but all you'll see is the same behavior wearing different excuses. That's God giving you confirmation through repetition. He'll allow the same situation to occur multiple times, not to punish you, but to prove a point. The lesson will keep repeating until you finally stop trying to repaint red flags white. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time, because God often reveals through patterns, not just moments. Sometimes, the warning comes through separation. You'll notice distance forming naturally between you and certain people. The communication slows, the connection fades, plans never align anymore. And while your heart might grieve that distance, your spirit will feel lighter because of it. That's not rejection. That's divine redirection. God separates you from what can't go with you. Some people are tied to your old season and can't survive your next one. Their presence in your life would only delay your purpose. So God, in His mercy, creates space, not to punish you, but to prepare you for better. Don't chase people who God has intentionally removed. Let the distance do its holy work. Then there's the warning of exposure. God will allow situations to unfold that reveal who someone really is. It may come through something small, a reaction, a comment, a moment of honesty that slips out when their guard is down. It hurts, yes, but it's truth, and truth is a gift. Exposure is never betrayal from God, it's protection. He lets masks fall before they have a chance to destroy your peace. You might see sides of people you didn't want to believe existed. Jealousy, manipulation, deceit. But don't ignore it. The pain of seeing the truth is far lighter than the burden of living a lie. When people show you their true colors, that's God saying, believe what you see. I'm showing you for a reason. God also warns you through delay and resistance. You'll notice that certain relationships come with constant confusion, stagnation, or emotional exhaustion. Things never seem to flow smoothly. It's always one problem after another. Your goals stall, your focus fades, your spiritual life weakens. That's not bad luck. That's a blockage. Some people carry energy that conflicts with your assignment. Their presence keeps you stuck because they're not aligned with where God is taking you. He can't elevate you while you're still tied to what's draining you. When everything feels delayed, ask God, who in my life might be slowing me down? You'll be surprised at how quickly peace returns when the wrong people leave. Another warning God gives is through dreams, intuition, or divine messages. You'll start to receive nudges in your spirit, random thoughts, recurring dreams, or sudden realizations that make you question certain people. Those are not coincidences, those are spiritual downloads. God speaks through signs, through silence, through timing. He'll show you glimpses of truth before the full picture unfolds. Don't ignore what He's revealing. Write it down. Pray for confirmation. God's warnings often come softly at first, through feelings, through whispers, but if ignored, they grow louder through pain. Obedience early saves heartbreak later, and sometimes God's final warning comes through loss. He'll allow certain people to walk away abruptly. It will hurt. You'll question why. You'll replay memories, trying to find closure that never comes. But the truth is, the departure itself is the closure. God saw something you didn't. He heard what you couldn't. He removed them because they were no longer aligned with your assignment. You'll want answers, but peace is found not in understanding why they left, but in trusting that God knows best. Every loss under divine direction is protection in disguise. When God warns you, it's not to create fear. It's to build faith. He's teaching you how to rely on discernment, not just emotions. He wants you to trust His voice even when it's inconvenient. Because discernment will always protect you from destruction. The Holy Spirit will never let you stay blind. That sudden shift in your heart, that gut feeling, that voice saying, something's not right, that's your early escape. Listen. So when people begin to fade, when peace starts to disappear, when patterns repeat, and when God exposes truth. Don't fight it. Don't call it rejection when it's really protection. You may cry, but you'll soon realize the removal was mercy. God doesn't take people from your life to leave you empty. He does it to make space for those who are genuine, loyal, and aligned with His purpose for you. What's leaving is not punishment. It's pruning. The wrong people have to go before the right blessings can flow. Trust that God's hand is on every shift, every silence, every separation, because this is how God warns you. Through peace, through patterns, through pain, and through protection. If you listen the first time, you'll save yourself from heartbreak the next. There are times in life when you begin to feel something shifting within you. A quiet stirring in your spirit that makes you look at certain people differently. You can't quite explain it, but your heart feels unsettled around them. Conversations that once brought laughter now leave you drained. Smiles that used to feel warm suddenly feel forced. And deep down, you know something isn't right. That's not coincidence. That's God. He's trying to warn you. Before He exposes the wrong people publicly, He reveals them privately to your spirit. Before He removes someone from your life, He first disconnects your peace. God's warnings often come softly, through restlessness, discomfort, or intuition. But if you ignore them, the silence turns into storms. He speaks not to scare you, but to protect you from what you can't yet see. One of the clearest ways God warns you is through a shift in peace. When someone's heart no longer aligns with yours, your peace will feel disturbed. You might start noticing small things, conversations that feel off, energy that feels heavy, or tension that appears for no reason. That uneasiness is not random. It's divine. God is letting you feel spiritually what you cannot yet understand mentally. His peace is the confirmation that you're safe. When peace disappears, that's your signal that something or someone is out of order. Don't dismiss it as overthinking. That quiet sense of discomfort is often the Holy Spirit saying, "Be careful. Not everyone smiling at you has pure intentions." Another way God warns you is through repeated patterns. You may see behaviors that don't match their words. Someone apologizes but never changes. They speak loyalty but act with inconsistency. They celebrate you in public but compete with you in silence. These are not coincidences. They're lessons. God allows repetition to get your attention. When you see the same red flag over and over again, it's not just a person's habit. It's heaven highlighting the truth. God doesn't expose to humiliate. He exposes to educate. The more you ignore the pattern, the louder it becomes. When someone keeps showing you their true nature, stop asking for more signs. God is not confusing you. He's confirming what you already know. Sometimes, God warns you through discomfort in conversation. The tone shifts. Their compliments start carrying hidden jabs. Their concern becomes criticism. You leave conversations feeling small, guilty, or uneasy. That's because the wrong people drain your confidence, not feed it. God allows you to sense when words no longer match spirit. He wants you to trust how you feel after interaction, not just what you hear during it. Pay attention to how people make you feel in your soul. Peace is your confirmation, confusion is your caution. When you find yourself constantly explaining your worth, defending your decisions, or walking on eggshells, that's not connection, that's control. God is using that tension to show you what love should never feel like. Then there's distance, one of the most misunderstood warnings. When God begins to remove someone, He often creates space first. Communication slows, plans don't align. You start feeling less connected, less understood, less drawn to them. You might try to fix it, but no matter what you do, it doesn't feel the same. That's because it's not supposed to. God is slowly untangling your spirit from something that's no longer healthy for your soul. You'll feel the pull to let go, even if your emotions want to hold on. That's not rejection, that's release. God knows what's ahead, and He won't allow the wrong people to follow you into the next season of your life. Don't chase what God has already disconnected. Another way God warns you is through the loss of focus and peace of mind. When certain people enter your life, you'll notice how quickly your priorities shift. You lose focus on what matters. You stop praying as much. You stop feeling grounded. You start to carry emotional chaos that doesn't even belong to you. That's not just coincidence. That's spiritual interference. God will allow you to feel the weight of the wrong connection so you'll recognize it's not meant to stay. The right people bring alignment, not anxiety. They won't make you question your peace, your purpose, or your identity. When someone's presence constantly distracts you from God's presence, that's your warning. He's showing you that peace is leaving because they were never meant to stay. Sometimes, the final warning comes through exposure. God will allow truth to come out, not to break you, but to free you. You might overhear something, see a message, or simply witness behavior that confirms what your spirit already knew. Exposure hurts, but it's mercy in disguise. It's God saying, "This is what I've been trying to show you." You may feel betrayed, but remember, God exposes before He elevates. He will not allow deceit to travel with destiny. The people He removes are the ones who would have destroyed your peace later. So when truth comes out, don't fight it. Don't argue with what God reveals. When He shows you, believe Him. And sometimes, His warning comes through delay. You'll notice that when the wrong people are close, nothing moves forward. Plans stall. Opportunities fade. You feel stuck. That's because their energy conflicts with your assignment. God won't let your purpose expand while you're tied to people who limit your growth. The moment you let them go, doors will start opening again. Peace will return. Clarity will flow. Sometimes progress is waiting on your obedience to release what's holding you back. When God warns you, it's always out of love. He's not trying to isolate you. He's trying to insulate you from deception, from heartbreak, from loss. His warnings are not punishments. They're protection. He will disturb your comfort to defend your calling. He will expose lies to preserve your peace. And yes, He will remove people to protect your future. When God takes someone out of your life, He's not leaving you empty. He's clearing space for something holy, something real, something that matches your growth. So listen when your spirit feels uneasy. Watch for the patterns that keep repeating. Don't ignore the silence. Don't chase after what God is detaching you from. Because the same God who warns will also heal. He'll fill every gap with His peace and send people who match your purpose, not manipulate it. Remember this truth: what God removes, He replaces with something better. And what He warns you about, He's already saving you from. His silence is strategy. His distance is direction. His warnings are whispers of love,